Here we have these two wheels which are connected with a rubber band at their center. As the wheels start moving away from each other, the rubber band starts stretching. By intuition, we can understand that the rubber band does not like this stretching. And as soon as the load is decreased, the rubber band will try to attain its initial shape. This internal energy generated in the material when strained, which allows it to retain its original shape upon removal of external load, is called the strain energy of the material. Visually, this energy can be expressed by the area covered under the load versus displacement curve for the material subjected to loading till its failure. Strain energy of a system till its elastic limit is also often called as the resilience of the system, as by definition, resilience is the ability of the system to regain its original state, which is only achievable till its elastic limit. Hence, it can be said that resilience of the material is strain energy before it undergoes permanent deformation. Hello and welcome to the channel. Now that we understand strain energy, let's look at a few loading conditions starting with this arrangement, which can be represented as a free body diagram. The member here is axially loaded, and according to load versus deflection graph, the area covered under the curve is strain energy. And this area is a triangle which mathematically can be written as strain energy U is equals to half into P into delta, where P is the load and delta is the deflection. We know the Young's modulus of a material is the ratio of stress by strain. Stress is load by area and strain is change in length upon original length, which gives us this equation, and hence we can write delta is equals to P dl by A into E, which can be substituted in the above equation, which gives us the strain energy for an element dl. To get the total strain energy, it is integrated over the entire length, that is from 0 to L, which after evaluating gives this equation, which is the equation of strain energy of a material subjected to axial loading, which can be tensile or compressive. It can also be represented in terms of stress as sigma is P by A, which can be substituted to give the equation strain energy U is sigma square AL by 2AE, and A into L is the volume, so it's sigma square upon 2E in the volume of the bar. Hence strain energy or resilience per unit volume of a bar subjected to direct tension or compression loading is sigma square upon 2E. That is, resilience is half into stress into strain. In the second condition, a cantilever member is subjected to shear load P, which causes the member to deflect. Here as well, the equation for strain energy or the work done is half into the load into the deflection delta, and the shear strain gamma is delta by dl, or delta is equals to dl into gamma. Also, the modulus of rigidity G is shear stress tau by the shear strain gamma. The shear stress tau can be written as P by A. Hence, we can write gamma is equals to P into A by G, which can be substituted in the above equation, which gives us the strain energy for a small length dl as P square dl upon 2Ag. And just like before, this is the strain energy for an element dl. Hence, the total energy can be found by integrating it over the entire length, that is from 0 to L, which gives us the total strain energy of a member subjected to shear load as U is equals to P square L upon 2Ag. In terms of the shear stress tau, which is P by A, it can be written as tau square by 2 into G into A into L, or the volume of the bar. Before we proceed, thank you for watching, and if you have made it this far, please consider subscribing. When subjected to a bending moment M, the member deflects into an arc. This arc subtends an angle of d theta, having a radius r. For this loading, the strain energy or work done is half into the moment M into the angle turned d theta. The length of the arc dl is r into d theta. Also, according to the bending equation, m by I is equals to E by r, or m by IE is equals to 1 by R, which gives us the equation d theta is equals to m by EI into dl, which can again be substituted in the energy equation, which can be integrated over the entire length L, which gives us the equation of total strain energy of a material when subjected to bending as m square L upon 2EI. And finally, when an element is subjected to torsion T, the member is twisted by an angle d theta. For this condition, the strain energy or work done is half into T into d theta. And using the equation of theory of simple torsion, the rate of twist d theta per unit length, that is dl, can be written as T by G into J, where T is the torque, G is the modulus of rigidity, and J is the polar moment of inertia. This is substituted in the above equation and evaluated for the entire length, giving the total energy of a system as T square L upon 2GJ, which is the total strain energy of a system when subjected to torsion. When we look at all the equations, a common trend can be spotted. The strain energy for these basic loading conditions is the square of the load multiplied by the length and divided by the product of the relative constants. These constants depend on the type of load. For example, when subjected to bending, it is the modulus of elasticity E and the moment of inertia I, while for torsion, constants are the modulus of rigidity G and the polar moment of inertia J. This was strain energy when a member was subjected to gradual loading. In the next video, let's see what happens when a sudden load is applied, as well as what are the applications of strain energy. So thank you for watching and consider subscribing if this was useful. Also check out our Twitter handle for updates whenever a video is uploaded. Thank you and we'll see you in the next video.